Casey, welcome to Dubai. And so, yeah, you went surfing today or yesterday, you said?
I did.
Is Dubai a good surfing spot?
No.
No.
No. But what matters is that it is a surfing spot.
Yeah.
Because the distance between a good surfing spot and a mediocre one is like this, but the difference between no surfing and some surfing is this.
True.
So like, yeah, warm water, blue water, a beach. I was so excited to get into the water yesterday. But yeah, the waves, hit or miss.
What was your favorite attraction or even a restaurant in Dubai since you came here?
Well, there's a story.
Yeah.
The shortest version is that I think the first handful of times that I was here, they were sort of organized trips. So they were packed.
Yeah.
You see this, you see this, you see that. You go skiing in the mall, you go to the top of this building. Amazing. If someone comes to New York for the first time, I give them a similar list. But the last time I was here, which was 2022, I was here with my friend, who's a South African surfer, Dan. And he and I were making a video, and we were surfing in Cape Town before we came up here. And we wanted to surf here, and we thought the only way to do it was in a wave pool. And as we're like talking about this idea for a video, someone was like, no, you can really actually surf in Dubai. And that's when that's when I learned that you can actually paddle out here. And I don't know, like for me, that has become one of those things. Like in New York City, it's like, here are the big things that an out-of-towner would think to do. And I think Dubai, because of so many of especially the things targeted for tourists here, they're so over the top. You see them all over the place because it's a huge deal. The skydiving and all these amazing, biggest shopping mall. And the idea that there's actually like a little surf spot or like a little surf shop where you like rent a surfboard and there's like people there ready to surf and there's like bros with blonde hair. I think finding those little sort of secrets in a city.
Are you still doing collaboration for your videos?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
What is the guideline for you, like to preserve the organic content versus, paid content? Because that's really, really interesting as well.
Yes. So it's gotten more interesting as I've become more sort of settled on YouTube. Like the story I was telling on stage about doing the first ever Nike branded video, that was 13, 14 years ago. And not only was I an unknown then, but to work in that capacity was unknown. To give a YouTube creator a bunch of money and say, make us something good, that's preposterous. Like in advertising, there needs to be really explicit guidelines. And now that's sort of become the norm. And also between then and now, I've made probably 1,000 videos. So if you're a brand looking to work with me, you sort of understand what it might look like, what I'm like to work with, because I've done it so many times in the past. So because of that, like this idea of not compromising integrity, I think has become very intuitive now, and the brands are very understanding, and not just understanding, but that's what they seek as well. So I just ran the New York City Marathon a few weeks ago. I run it every year, and I always like to make a video about it. And I had a video that I was going to make this year. And then a shoe company reached out, and it happened to be like the only sneaker company that I ever run in. And I was like, oh, I've always wanted to work with them, and I'm making a running video. So let's figure out how to make it work. So to talk about my favorite running shoe in a video about running, it's a very organic way of but they don't happen often. And I think I say no a lot more than I say yes, because if I don't have the sort of the creative approach to make it good, I don't typically say yes.
And I wanted to know, we are at a time where video motion is really the new format. I mean, this is the format. Do you think it's a passing trend, or it will, and we will go, or we might go back to something more static, and or maybe even to print media at some time, maybe?
No.
Sure.
No, I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's going to consume everything. And as it consumes everything, this tidal wave that we're already experiencing, I think what it does is it puts such a premium on anyone who can stand out in that tidal wave of noise. This is something I talk about a lot when talking about AI. Aren't you worried AI is going to, make your creativity on YouTube less relevant? And I think the answer to that is absolutely yes. For the 99.9% of people that emulate other people's work. But if you're someone who thinks independently, if you're someone who is able to stand out in that sphere, I think the opportunities for success will be greater because of what AI is doing, because of the ubiquity of video. I think that if you can stand out in this environment, it means you're something special.
So you don't think that print media will come back one day?
No, I don't. I think the value of things that are static, are tangible, is going to go up. You know, the number one selling music media form in the world is MP3 streaming. Number two, vinyl. Not CDs, not cassettes, vinyl. And I think that we have this yearning for things that we can touch and feel, and you know, that's not an Amazon Kindle, that's not an audio book, but is an actual physical book. And I think that hopefully print will find its footing in there somewhere.
So you've stepped back from, you know, obviously daily blogging, you stopped that a few years ago, and your content is becoming a lot more intermittent. Are you focusing more on passion projects rather than anything else, or is there
no, it's
coming
just
back into video creation a bit more? Because I feel your last video, you sort of, it just felt like you were back into loving what you're doing with it.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. But I have other loves, and business is a real love of mine. And I think something I was talking about on stage, but it was like, you know, when I was building my own technology startup, that was the most grueling, scary, professional experience of my life. But on the other side of it, I now look back and I'm like, what part of that process did I love? And there was a lot that I really loved. So now when I work with companies, and I do actively every single day. This morning I was on a conference call from Tokyo, a company that I'm working with. I get to do just the things that I love with these companies. This desire to sort of be a founder, CEO, to run the whole thing, it's gone. I hate that. I learned the hard way. I hate that. But there are parts that I love. So where I am now is as identifying those and finding those opportunities. And there's two really significant things that I'm taking on right now. And there's a third that is less significant, but just as meaningful. And I'm putting a lot of energy and time and resources and focus into that. And it just, it sort of hoovers up all of my free cognitive space. I think one of the hardest parts of making videos is like, it's not like digging a ditch. Like you can dig a ditch, get halfway to the bottom, throw the shovel down, go get lunch, go on vacation to Europe, come back 6 months later, the shovel's there, the hole's just as deep. And whether you're a writer or a painter or a musician or a video maker, when it's flowing, you just keep going. But the minute you stop, you can't just pick up where you left off. So for me, most of my days are filled with meetings and phone calls. And it's not like I can take advantage of the free time by just quickly making a video. You know, what I learned when I was doing the daily vlog is that because it was the only thing I was thinking about morning, noon, and night, it was actually very easy creatively because I knew exactly what I was doing. There were no distractions. And that's something that I really struggle to find right now.